Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all. Can anybody do Kirtan?
Mataji, shall I do?
Yeah, please, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, shall I continue?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji has joined. Thank you for the kirtan.
Thank you Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
We welcome you on the ICF forum, Prabhu. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We're looking forward to the divine nectarian Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhu.
Okay, Mataji, thanks a lot, Hare Krishna. I'm very humbled and privileged to be part of your association. I seek the blessing of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that the right word comes at the right moment, the right spirit, which would be beneficial for all of our spiritual progress. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. So we are in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 27th chapter. 11 to 15 is today's sloka. Vasudha Mataji, can you please read the sloka and translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Muktalingam sadhabhasam asati pratipadyate sato bandhum asakchakshuhu sarvanusyutam advayam. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Maji. The translation, who can read? Anasuya Mataji, can you please read the translation?
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu pronouns. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead, who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection even in the false ego. He is the support of the material cause and he enters into everything. He is absolute, one without a second, and he is the eyes of the illusionary energy. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maji.
Purport also, Prabhu.
Yeah, purport. Can Sutta Mataji read a purport?
Thank you.
Sutta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare. Then, okay.
Should I read the purport, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A pure devotee can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything materially manifested. He is present there only as a reflection, but a pure devotee can realize that in the darkness of material illusion, the only light is the Supreme Lord who is its support. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the background of the material manifestation is Lord Krishna. And as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord, by his partial or plenary expansion, is present not only within this universe and each and every universe, but in every atom, although he is one without a second. The word Advayam, without a second, which is used in this verse, indicates that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is represented in everything, including the atoms, he is not divided. His presence in everything is explained in the next verse. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in this sloka, it's been said the liberated soul only can realize the presence of the Lord in each and every every atom of the universe. Right? I will try.
Vrishabhanu Mataji,
Yeah,
Vrishabhanu Mataji, kindly mute Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Maji, yeah. So only the liberated soul can realize, okay, the Lord is present in every atom. Okay, the word Advayam is very important because without a second, the whole material universe, material energy, it is nothing but like okay, the energy of Lord Sri Krishna. So we need to understand why this material world been created and what is the reason behind it and how we can use that reason, like how we can effectively utilize the material world to go back to the spiritual world. That is our purpose. Like that purpose has to be understood. Like okay, that purpose has to be realized through the realized, like through the acharyas and other great Vaishnavas. Why Lord is making all these like okay arrangements? Is it for our sense enjoyment or like okay it is for our purpose to go back to the spiritual world? So that has to be like okay understand. So we need to understand like Krishna is the cause of all causes. Everything like okay in this material world and in the spiritual world like okay being created by Lord. It is nothing but like a Lord's energy. So that is what we are going to see. In the next sloka, Suma Mataji, can you please read the next sloka?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Yatha jalasta abhasa sthalasthavena sthena vadrishyate swabhasena tatha suryo jalasthena divistitaha. Hare Krishna. I'll call out the devotees, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
yeah, Mataji.
Prashanti
Yeah.
Mataji, you can read the translation. Shanti Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Prabhupada ki Jai. The presence of the Supreme Lord can be realized just as the sun is realized first as a reflection on water and again as a second reflection on the wall of a room. All the sun itself is situated in the sky. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The example given herewith is perfect. The sun is situated in the sky, far, far away from the surface of the earth, but its reflection can be seen in a pot of water in the corner of a room. The room is dark and the sun is far away in the sky, but the sun's reflection on the water illuminates the darkness of the room. A pure devotee can realize the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything by the reflection of his energy. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that as the presence of fire is understood by heat and light, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is perceived everywhere by the diffusion of his different energies. It is confirmed in the Ishopanishad that the presence of the Lord is perceived everywhere by the liberated soul, just as the sunshine and the reflection can be perceived everywhere, although the sun is situated far away from the surface of the globe. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So here very nicely it has been explained like a sun is realized first as a reflection on water. So we all know like a water also it is the energy of the Lord. The sun is the energy of the Lord. Like realization can be like a first understood by the reflection on the water, and a second on the reflection of the room. Okay, so every energy of the Lord, like this, we have to understand. In the Sri Isha Upanishad also, it has been mentioned. Okay, Isha idam sarvam yatkinchya jagatyam jagat. Ishavashyam is like a all animate and inanimate things, like okay, is completely owned and controlled by the Lord. So this Isavashyam principle, if we know, we kind of like okay know many things about the energy of the Lord, correct? So everything animate and inanimate, like a moving and a non-moving, everything is owned. It is He is the owner. Like a, no one can be called as a owner. Like we always need to realize okay, we are the servant of the Lord. Okay, everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. So Lord is controlling all these things. Okay, that is what we have to understand. Okay, in the Ishavashyam principle mentioned in the Isha Upanishad. The next sloka.
Hare Krishna. Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Divya Gopu Mataji, you can read the translation and purport.
Sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Evam Trivrinda Ahankaro Bhutendriya Manomayaihi Swabhasairlakshito Nena Sadabhasena Satyadruk.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranams. Translation by
Hare Krishna.
Sri Prabhupada ki jai. The self-realized soul is thus reflected first in the threefold ego and then in the body, senses, and mind. Mataji, do you want me to continue with purport?
No,
or someone
Mataji.
else?
Shobha Mataji can read the
Yeah.
purport for me. Thank you. Hare
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji and Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Purport. The conditioned souls think. Am I reading the correct purport, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji. Yeah.
The conditioned souls think I am this body, but a liberated soul thinks I am not this body. I am spirit soul. This I am is called ego or identification of the self. I am this body or everything in relationship to the body is mine is called false ego. But when one is self-realized and thinks that he is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord, that identification is real ego. No conception is in the darkness of the threefold qualities of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the other is in the pure state of goodness called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva. When we say that we give up our ego, this means that we give up a false ego. But real ego is always present. When one is reflected through the material contamination of the body and mind and false identification, he is in the conditioned state. But when he is reflected in the pure stage, he is called liberated. The identification of oneself with one's material possessions in the conditional stage must be purified, and one must identify himself in relationship with the Supreme Lord. In the conditioned state, one accepts everything as an object of sense gratification, and in the liberated state, one accepts everything for the service of Supreme Lord. Krishna's consciousness, devotional service, is the actual liberated stage of a living entity. Otherwise, both accepting and rejecting on the material platform or in voidness or impersonalisms or imperfect conditions of the pure soul. By the understanding of the pure soul called Satyadrik, one can see everything as a reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A concrete example can be given in this connection. A conditioned soul sees every beautiful rose and he thinks that the nice aromatic flower should be used for his own sense gratification. This is one kind of vision. A liberated soul, however, sees the same flowers as a reflection of the Supreme Lord. He thinks this beautiful flower is made possible by the superior energy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it belongs to the Supreme Lord and should be utilized in his service. These are two kinds of vision. The conditioned soul sees the flower form
for his own enjoyment, and the devotee sees the flower as an object to be used in the service of the Lord. In the same way, one can see the reflection of the Supreme Lord in one's senses, mind, and body in everything. With that correct vision, one can engage everything in the service of the Lord. It is stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that one who has engaged everything, his vital energy, his wealth, his intelligence, and his words in the service of the Lord, or who desires to engage all these in the service of the Lord, no matter how he is situated, is to be considered a liberated soul or Satyadrik. Such a man has understood things as they are. Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so here it has been very nicely explained. So the conditioned soul is nothing but one who thinks, okay, I am the body. The liberated soul is the one who thinks like, okay, I am the soul. So we are not the body, we are the soul, correct? That is a real ego. Like, okay, the I am the soul is a real ego. I am the body is the conditioned soul, which is the false ego. So due to that false ego only, we are in this material world and conditioned by this three mode of material nature, and we are forgetting ourselves like our real identity. Okay. So here the Satya Drig is very important because one who can see like okay, everything as a reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the beautiful rose example was the analogy being given like a by Srila Prabhupada. We have to see like each and everything is owned and controlled by the Lord, like a Isha Vashyam principle. So everything being owned and controlled by Lord, like it has to be enjoyed by the Lord. So that is how we have to live our life. Okay, if we live in that manner, like we are the Satyadrik, we can who can see like everything as a reflection of the Lord, the energy of the Lord, like we can understand Krishna's hand in everything. So that is what been mentioned over here. The next shloka.
Hare Krishna. Anita Mataji, you can read the shloka. Karpagvalli Mataji, you can read the translation. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna. Anita Mataji, Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the shloka then. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, you can go.
No.
भूत सूक्ष्मेन्द्रिय मनो बुद्ध्यादेशेह निद्रया लीने श्वसति यस्तत्र विनिद्रो निरहङ्क्रियः. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Your voice is not audible, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you can read, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, audible Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. You can read, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, it's audible.
Okay, Maji, in the interest of time, let me read. Sorry, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Although a devotee appears to be merged in the five material elements, the object of material enjoyment, the material senses, and the material mind and intelligence, he is understood to be awake and to be freed from the false ego. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C.
Hare
Bhaktivedanta
Krishna,
Swami Srila
Prabhu. Should
Prabhupada.
I read the purport?
Mataji, shall I read
Yeah.
Mataji, no? Shall I read?
Yeah,
Yes,
Maji, please
Mataji,
read.
you can
Yeah.
read. You can read, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. The explanation for me is the Sindhu of how a person can be liberated even in this body is more elaborately explained in this verse. The living tree who has become Satyadrit
relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead may remain apparently immersed in the five material sense objects, the 10 senses, and the mind and intelligence, but still he is considered to be awake and to be freed from the reaction of false ego. Here the word Lina is very significant. The Mayavadi philosophers recommend merging in the impersonal effulgence of the Brahman. That is their ultimate goal or destination. That merging is also mentioned here. But in spite of merging, one can keep his individuality. The example given by Jiva Goswami is that a green bird that enters a green tree appears to merge in the color of the greenness, but actually the bird does not lose its individuality. Similarly, a living entity merged either in the material nature or in the spiritual nature does not give up individuality. Real individuality is to be understand oneself to be understand oneself from Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Somebody else can take up, Mataji. Shilpa Mataji, want to continue, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, I will start. The example given by Jiva Goswami is that a green bird that enters a green tree appears to merge in the color of greenness, but actually the bird does not lose its individuality. Similarly, a living entity merged either in the material nature or in the spiritual nature does not give up his individuality. Real individuality is to understand oneself to be the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. This information is received from the mouth of Lord Chaitanya. He said clearly upon the inquiry of Sanatan Goswami that a living entity is the servitor of Krishna eternally. Krishna also confirms in Bhagavad Gita that the living entity is eternally his part and parcel. The part and parcel is meant to serve the whole. This is individuality. It is so even in this material existence when the living entity apparently merges in matter. His gross body is made up of 5 elements. His subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego, and contaminated consciousness. And he has 5 active senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. In this way, he merges in matter. But even while merged in the 24 elements of matter, he can keep his individuality as the eternal servitor of the Lord, either in the spiritual nature or in the material nature. Such a servitor is to be considered a liberated soul. That is the explanation of the authorities, and it is confirmed in this verse. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Maji. So, like in this sloka, it is mentioned, though the liberated soul in this material world, which is like, okay, all these 24 elements, like, which is the main aspect, the energy of the Supreme Lord, but still he can be aloof from this material world by connecting to the spiritual, to the Supreme Lord. Because he is considered himself as like associated with the soul, and he is considering himself as a servitor, the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Okay, in that manner, we can be doing the devotion service. We can do the devotion service even in this material world. That is what been mentioned. Hare Krishna ji, next sloka, the last
Hare
sloka
Krishna.
for the day.
Vijay
Yeah.
Desai Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Translation and purport. Shilpa Mataji, you can read, Mataji. You want to read, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I will read the translation purport, Maji, because
Hare
to
Krishna.
save the time. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
मन्यमानास्तदा आत्मान मनष्टो नष्टवन्मृषा नष्टे अहंकार्य रणे दृष्टा नष्टवित्त इवातुरः.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Mataji. Yeah. No, I'll read Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation. The living entity can vividly feel his existence as the seer, but because of the disappearance of the ego during the state of deep sleep, he falsely takes himself to be lost, like a man who has lost his fortune and feels distressed, thinking himself to be lost. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Only in ignorance does a living entity thinks that he is lost. If by attainment of knowledge he comes to the real position of his eternal existence, he knows that he is not lost. An appropriate example is mentioned herein, Nashta Vitta Ivaturaha. A person who has lost a great sum of money may think that he is lost, but actually he is not lost. Only his money is lost. But due to his absorption in the money or identification with the money, he thinks that he is lost. Similarly, when we falsely identify with matter as our field of activities, we think that we are lost, although actually we are not. As soon as a person is awakened to the pure knowledge of understanding that he is an eternal servitor of the Lord, his own real position is revived. A living entity can never be lost. Okay, when one forgets his identity in deep sleep, he becomes absorbed in dreams, and he may think himself a different person or may think himself lost, but actually his identity is intact. This concept of being lost is due to false ego, and it continues as long as one is not awakened to the sense of his existence as an eternal servitor of the Lord. The Mayavadi philosophers' concept of becoming one with the Supreme Lord is another symptom of being lost in false ego. One may falsely claim that he is the Supreme Lord, but actually he is not. This is the last snare of Maya's influence upon the living entity. To think oneself equal with the Supreme Lord, or to think oneself to be the Supreme Lord himself, is also due to false ego. Hare Krishna. So here it is mentioned, since we are identify ourselves with the body, so we are identify ourselves with the material energies. Like we think that okay, we are lost if we lose some money, or like if we are in a deep sleep. So we think that okay, we completely lost ourselves, but in reality, the only the money is lost. Like we are not lost, okay, because we are the eternal servitor of the Lord, and we are the soul, and we are not the body. So that has to be understood. So that is what been mentioned in this sloka. So this the sloka is over. So let me just project the screen. Hare Krishna. Hope you are able to see my screen, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. So let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Again, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas. So today we will see in this five sloka and in the whole this third canto, like a 27th chapter, it is talking about understanding the material nature, right? Like okay, how the whole universe been created, and how the energies of the Lord coming intact, to create this material universe. Okay, that is what been explained in the five sloka, like we saw in a brief. Okay, so now we will see how we can understand the energy of the Lord, how we can be an instrument in Krishna's plan. We will see a various pastimes where how the devotees been taken their position as like a instrument in Krishna's plan, and how Krishna is taking a position as an instrument to fulfill the desires of the devotee. Okay, that is what we will see in the next half an hour or 40 minutes. Hare Krishna. So as we saw, Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but Sri Krishna's the transcendental body in that chapter, canto 1 and 2 represents the lotus feet of the Lord, which is talking about the introduction, Sarga and Visarga and Poshana. Okay, then 3 and 4 canto, explaining the it represents thighs of the Lord, which is talking about the Sarga and Visarga, the primary creation, and the secondary subsequent creation by Brahma, Manus, and past times of Lord Varaha. That is what we are seeing in the Sarga, the primary creation by the Lord. That is what the third canto is explaining. Fifth canto is explaining navel, the sthana, the position of the whole universe, like been mentioned. The sixth chapter is explaining a chest, which is called a portion of Lord's protection to the people. Then 7 and the 8th canto is representing the arms of the Lord, which is talking about Uti and Manvantara. Then 9th canto represents the throat, which is Ishanukata, and the 10th canto represents the lotus face of the Lord, which is nothing but the Krishna book, which is talking about the Ashraya, Lord Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan, which is the topmost Lila in the whole of pastimes of Krishna. And 11th canto explaining the forehead of the Lord, then it is like talking about the mukti or liberation, and the 12th canto represents like the head of the Lord, which is talking about Nirodha, like 4 kinds of universal annihilation. Okay, Hare Krishna. So the various layered conversation, like we need to understand whenever we read Srimad Bhagavatam, to who is speaking, like first Lord Krishna speaking to Brahma, the Chatursloki of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Brahma is explaining that to like a Narada speaking to Vyasadeva in the banks of Saraswati. Then Vyasadeva speaking to Sukadeva Goswami in the village. Okay. Then Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj and Rishis with Suta Goswami, like okay, on the banks of Ganges. Okay. Then Suta Goswami speaking to sages headed by Sonaka Rishis, like on the banks of Gomati River, Naimisharanya, and Vaishampayana, like a narrator to King Janamejaya, who is like a Parikshit son. So these are the various occasions the Srimad Bhagavatam been like explained or conversed like between the devotees. So why we need to hear, like we need to understand why we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Srinvadam Svakada Krishna ka Punya Shravana Kirtanaga Hridayantasto hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Sugar Sadam. So it cleanses like the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed like a urge to hear this message. Okay, if we have the urge to hear Krishna's message or Srimad Bhagavatam, then all our material enjoyment will be cleansed like okay, from the heart. Then by giving this oral reception, like a feeling for loving devotion service, like a will be sprouted like in the heart and exist, which will extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Like okay. So again, like these pastimes are described like for the it has been talked for us like to attract us to experience the love of the Lord. It reminds us like to remember Krishna. We have to appreciate, we have to attract her like all these pastimes and aspire like to attain the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, we need to realize the Krishna consciousness as said in the sloka. We have to realize like okay by using our realize like okay, which has been opened by the spiritual master. Okay, so we have to take it like a Srimad Bhagavatam very very seriously. Then only like a Krishna will be manifested in our heart. Okay, within a short span of time. These are the various energies like okay, which has been explained. The whole material universe been created like by this gross element and the subtle element. Okay, how the incarnations are coming, like a plenary explanations are coming. So this is how like the whole material universe been created. In the 11.33 of Bhagavad Gita sloka, it has been said by the Lord like a nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Okay, I'll just read this translation and purport because this is very, very important to understand the context of the sloka. Okay, therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Okay. Savyasachi refers like okay to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just to become an instrument. The nimitta matram is like okay, just to become the instrument, an instrument. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons like who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that. But there is no question of perhaps or maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is the plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to get back to the Godhead, back to home. As long as they have domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over the material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is the most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the material manifestation are under the superior guidance of the God. Thus, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So here it is very, very clearly mentioned, okay, Arjuna was not willing to fight. Then Krishna is influencing him to fight. Okay, he's saying, all these soldiers been put into death by me already. You just act as like an instrument by the will of me, so that like, okay, I would be happy, you would be happy, everyone will be happy, like the dharma will be protected. So uh, how to understand this? Like a Sabyasachi, it is nothing but, okay, who Arjuna was a great warrior, correct? Like he was very expert in the bow and arrow. He was a very expert soldier, but he has been asking, okay, Krishna is saying, you just be an instrument, like a by the will of me. So Arjuna is accepting that. Okay, Arjuna is not by debating with Krishna. Krishna, like, I can kill many soldiers. Why I have to be an instrument as per your will? I can kill myself. Like, okay, many great warriors. Like, why I have to be an instrument? He never asked. Like, he just acted as per the instruction of Krishna. Okay, he has been put into that bewilderment state by the will of Lord. Okay, otherwise, Arjuna was a great devotee, and he is very expert in the knowledge. He don't need to be in the confused state, because if you remember, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, they blown the Shankha. They assembled to fight, because like, okay, Krishna came as a peace messenger, but Duryodhana was not accepting the peace engagement. So then they agree to fight, like they assemble to fight. Okay, they taken their shankas, they explained their army situation, then they taken the shanka and they blown the shanka also. After that, Arjuna is saying, I am not going to fight. Like, he's giving 5 reasons not to fight, and he is put into the bewilderment state. So that is the will of the Lord. Like, then Krishna is teaching the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, so that transcendental message, that divya jnana, like, okay, can be passed to the future generation. Okay, then he is asking him to be an instrument, nimitta matram. Like, though you are expert in fight, you just be an instrument in my will. Okay, you just fight. So Arjuna is accepting that, like he is accepting, though he is the Savyasachi, though he is Parantapa, like, okay, he is agreeing to be a instrument, okay, of the will of the Lord. Okay, that is the great example for us. Like, we also need to be an instrument of the will of the Lord. Then the next pastime, where we all know, like, many of us know, the Krishna, he wants to showcase the greatness of the gopis. Okay, so for that reason, he played a pastime where he's getting a headache, and he's asking Narada. Narada is asking, like, how to cure that headache. So immediately Krishna is saying, I need the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. If I apply that dust, like, then my headache will be removed. Then Narada is approaching first Lord Brahma. Brahma says, no, how I can give my dust to Lord Shri Krishna? Then I will commit the biggest sin, and I will go to the hell. No, I will not give. Like, okay. Then he's approaching Shiva. Shiva also in similar manner, like he's responding, no, I can't give my dust to the Supreme Lord. Then he's approaching like a Queens of Dwaraka. Then Queens also saying, no, it is not possible, like, okay, because we are going to commit a great sin. And he's approaching various devotees, like no one is ready to give the dust. Finally, he's approaching like the gopis of Vrindavana. Then when they hear, like, okay, Krishna got headache, they are like, okay, going into very distressful state. Okay, how it is possible Krishna can get a headache? Like, okay, what we can do to remove his headache? Then immediately Narada Muni says, okay, he just need the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. Then immediately they say, okay, we don't know we are the devotee of the Lord, but we can give loads of dust, like loads of sand, to Krishna if it is going to relieve his headache. Okay, that is the then Narada Muni is saying, okay, no, if you give the your dust, then you are committing a sin, and you may go to the hell. Are you ready for it? They were saying, like, immediately they were responding, if this particular dust is going to remove the headache of Sri Krishna, even for a moment, we are welcoming our entrance to the hell forever in forever. So that is the mood the Brajavasis, like the gopis have, and that is the love they have, like to Lord Sri Krishna. So then Narada Muni got like a so surprised. Even Narada Muni like didn't give his own dust like to Lord, because he knows that, okay, it would not be appropriate like to give his last dust to the Supreme Lord. Then after taking that dust like to the Supreme Lord just apply the dust, and like immediately his headache been removed. And he's why this pastime being like okay, enacted? It is nothing but like a gopis and the Narada been acting as a instrument uh, in the Lord's plan, and he wants to showcase like okay, how the gopis are the topmost devotees of the Lord. Okay, to exhibit that to the whole world, okay, whole universe, this pastime being enacted, and like a Narada and gopis been acting as a instrument, like okay, in the will of the Lord. So that is what like we can derive from this particular thing. Otherwise, like there is no chance for Krishna to get a headache, and all the other devotees like not accepting the not giving like the dust of their lotus feet. So in this manner, like we can understand gopis are the greatest devotee of the Lord, because they are okay to do anything for Krishna. Okay, so that is what we need to understand. And one more thing, like we have to understand, gopis are not very greedy to serve Krishna. Okay, they are greedy to get to see like a Krishna gets the best of the service. Okay, if someone says, okay, I can serve Krishna in a better manner than Gopi, they will immediately accept, and they will accept that devotee to serve Krishna, because they want to see Krishna happy all the time. Whether they serve or anyone else serve, like that doesn't matter. They want Krishna to get the best of the service. That is the mood of the Gopi. In reality, like in our own conditioned state, like we may not be that expert, correct? Like we may not be that humble. If someone else is doing the service, like they are getting the fame, then immediately like okay, we may think, why I'm not getting the service, why only that devotee has to get the service. But the gopis are not like that, correct? That is the reason, whenever like okay, to get the mercy of Krishna, we need to get the mercy of Srimati Radharani, because if we agree to do the best of the service to Krishna, Srimati Radharani will agree and accept. Okay, oh no, no, this devotee like is a great servitor, and please like allow him to serve Krishna. She will, Srimati Radharani will accept and like approve our service to Lord Sri Krishna. So that is the reason like gopis are the topmost devotees of the Lord. Correct? It was Krishna's desire like to show the love of gopis like to the whole entire universe. Like so that is the reason this pastime has been enacted. So in the next pastime, like Krishna agreed, so he completed all the pastimes in this material world, and he was about to wind up, so to go back to the spiritual world. Okay, at the time, Uddhava, the great friend of Lord Shri Krishna, so he also wanted to come along with Krishna, okay, to the spiritual world. Then Krishna says, no, 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 you I visited many places in my stay in the material universe. Okay, but I never visited like a Badrikashram. Okay, so I want you to uh, teach the Uddhava Gita, which is like okay, around 23 chapters to be taught to the sages in the Badrikashram, and you have to teach that Uddhava Gita to the sages in the Badrikashram. Like, okay, after that, you can come to the spiritual world. Okay, so Uddhava was a little disappointed as like he was unable to go to the spiritual world along with
Hare Krishna
Krishna, but at the
Prabhuji.
same time, he accepted Lord's plan. He
Hare Krishna
accepted Lord's
Prabhuji.
will. Okay, he never questioned why Krishna, like, you can extend one more day and you can go to the Badrikashram and you can preach the Uddhav Gita to the sages. Why you are asking me to do? Okay, so why you are asking me to preach? No, it's not possible. Okay, so he is accepting, he is an instrument as a questioned, or he never
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
Your voice is breaking and sometimes you are not audible, Prabhuji.
Okay, Maji, 1 second.
Prabhu from Uddhav Gita. Please repeat, Prabhu, from Uddhav Gita.
Yeah, that's what the Uddhav.
We were able to hear.
Yes, its voice is breaking.
Yeah,
Your voice was
it's
unstable
breaking.
in between.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was not
Mataji.
stable. It was breaking in between. We couldn't hear Uddhava Gita.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, fine, okay, Maji, okay, fine, okay, yeah. So Uddhav Gita, it is 23 chapters of the longest philosophy in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna is teaching that Uddhav Gita uh, to Uddhava, and asking Uddhava to preach this to the sages in Badrikashram. So Uddhava is accepting that, like, okay, as a will of the Lord, and he's accepting that, okay, and he becomes an instrument in the Lord's plan, and he agrees that, like, he never questioned or he never queried Krishna, why you are asking me, like, you yourself can go and do it. You can preach the Uddhav Gita, like, okay, to sages of Badrikashram. He never questioned, and he accepted like a Lord's plan, and he becomes an instrument in the Lord's plan. Like, that is the that is via this pastime. In the next pastime, we all know, like, okay, the Krishna, he was performing the pastimes in Vrindavana, like, with all the gopis. Okay. At the same time, like, then he moved from Vrindavan to Mathura, then from Mathura to like Dwaraka. In the Dwaraka, like, he was not attracted by the beauties of the queen, though the queens were like, okay, very, very beauty personified. He was attracted by their devotional service. Okay. Then in the same way, like, okay, Lord was performing or assisting the Pandavas in the Kurukshetra war. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th and 11th chapter, Sukadeva Goswami and Sutta Goswami is comparing while Krishna was in the Kurukshetra war, okay, he was just as a wind, okay. How the wind will create the fire when the two bamboo trees in the forest, like, okay, with the contact of the wind, it will make the fire, correct? The similar way, he was just present. He assembled the armies of Pandavas and Kauravas. Then he made them to fight, and like, okay, the fight got over. But wherein in the Rasalila, or like, okay, in the Vrindavan, while he was engaging in the pastimes of like, okay, gopis, or while he was in the with the Dwaraka queens, like okay, he was engaged in the pastimes. He was so actively engaged, correct? So now what we have to understand is like a Krishna, out of his willingness, okay, he was always wanted to enjoy with gopis, and he wanted to stay in Vrindavan. But just to support the devotee, to support the Pandavas, he came out of that particular pastime, and he was supporting Pandavas. So Krishna wanted, Krishna becomes like okay, the instrument to fulfill the desires of the devotee. So this is one such example, because in some devotees may question like why Sutta Goswami is comparing okay the Kurukshetra war and the pastimes of Vrindavan and Dwaraka. It is nothing but okay. While Krishna is how he engaged in the Madhurya Rasa and how he was engaged in the Virya Rasa, like okay, the soldierly form, like in that particular rasa, how he was exhibiting or how he was helping the devotees. Okay, he becomes the instrument, like though he was always engaged, wanted to engage in the Vrindavan pastime, but out of to save the devotee, he comes out of his comfort zone and he wants to like support the Pandavas. So that is what like Krishna becomes an instrument to fulfill the desires of a devotee. Okay, in this way we can understand this pastime. In the next pastime, Bhishma Dev, we know like who is the greatest soldier. Okay, he taken the side of the adharma. Okay, just to exhibit, because Lord wanted to exhibit, however expert you may be, however strong you may be, if you are on the side of adharma, you can never be the winner. You can never come victorious, like okay, in the war. Even by he was defeated by the younger warrior, correct? Like Arjuna was much younger than Bhishma. So Bhishma becomes an instrument in the will of the Lord, because Lord wanted to show someone who is as powerful as Bhishma, who cannot expect like a defeat at any moment, but he was put into a defeat because he taken the side of the adharma. So he wanted to show Sokash like okay, however powerful you are, if you are on the side of adharma, you can never be the winner. So that is what like okay, that is the reason Bhishma, though he was the great warrior, he was a great devotee of the Lord in the heart, he was always thinking about the Pandavas and thinking about Krishna. Only on the physical manner, like okay, physical act, he was on the side of Duryodhana, but always like he wanted to save Pandavas. Okay, so that is how like the great devotee been put into that greatest difficulty to be on the side of adharma, because Krishna wanted uh, Bhishma to be in that manner. Even at the deathbed also, how cruel it would be, like how difficult it would be to preach the how to live our life, like how to rule the kingdom. He was glorifying like the Vishnu Sahasranam also, correct? So he is being put into a state where Bhishma is trying to preach, or Krishna is asking Yudhishthira to get the knowledge from Bhishma on the bed, on the deathbed. So that also Bhishma is accepting that. Only the great devotee can understand this particular situation and this particular reason. Because many will say, okay, Bhishma was a great devotee, but why he was on the side of adharma? To showcase like the entire world, though however powerful you may be, like if you are on the side of adharma, you can never be a winner. For that particular reason, like hey, Bhishma being put into that situation according to the will of the Lord. Like okay, so he accepted to be an instrument for that particular thing. Okay. Someone may say, okay, Bhishma was waiting for the Uttarayana. Bhishma never waited for Uttarayana the time. He was waiting for the Uttarayana. Uttarayana is another name of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Because in two ways, okay, one is he given the protection, Uttara and Ayana. Ayana means like a shelter. Uttarayana, one who gives the shelter to Uttara. That is Uttarayana, because like when Uttara was coming to say like, okay, Pagi Pagi Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagat Pate, okay, please protect me because Ashwathamas, that Brahmastra is coming to kill my son. That time, like, okay, he gives the protection to Uttara, and he went to he went inside of the womb of Uttara to protect Parikshit, like, okay, from the Brahmastra. So he gives the protection to Uttara, and he been protected like inside the womb of Uttara to protect Parikshit. Okay, so that is the reason Krishna's another name is called Uttarayana. Okay, to meet Uttarayana, like to meet Uttarayana as a person, Krishna, Bhishma Dev was waiting, like he control his willing, feeling, and hankering, like, okay, to see the Lord and to go back to the spiritual world. Correct? Like iti mati upakalpida with Krishna. So he was waiting for the darshan of the Lord. Okay, he was not waiting for the Uttarayana at the time. That is another thing we have to understand. In another occasion, we all know, like in Ramayana, the greatest kanda is like a Sundar Kanda, because in the Sundar Kanda, Lord Rama taken a low profile and he gives all the great glories to Hanuman, because Hanuman he was getting a power to cross the Lanka ocean in a single jump. Okay, he crossed 100 yojanas. Okay, one yojana is nothing but 8 miles, around 800 miles. He crossed in a single jump. Okay, so on the way he was doing so many activities, such as he was getting the blessing from Surasa, then touching the Mainaka request, like he subdued Lankini and Simhia. Then he sets like a Shogavatika in the fire. Then he sets like the fire of entire Lanka. Then he is meeting Sitama. Okay, he gives the ring, like, okay, which has been given by Lord Rama. Then he is giving the what to say, like, okay, he is giving warning to Ravana. So all these activities he is doing, like he's a great warrior, and he is giving like the greatest of importance to the Sundarakanta, correct, in the Ramayana. But the same Lord Hanuman been given a very, very menial service to be just on the flag on the chariot of Arjuna. If Hanuman asked to fight the Kurukshetra war would have been over by 18 seconds, because by just like, okay, him expanding 100 yojanas, he will kill all the Kaurava army, correct? But he has been asked to give the very menial service, okay, to be just present in the emblem of, like, okay, the chariot of Arjuna. He accepted that because he wants to be an instrument in the Lord's will, and he just been an present, because the great warrior, like, okay, if you ask him, okay, you just be present without fighting anything, then some great warrior like him may not accept it. But Lord Hanuman accepted because he wanted to be an instrument in the Lord's plan, correct? Because Lord was present and Lord's devotee was present, Arjuna was came as, like, okay, as a victorious in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So that is another greatness we can understand, how Hanuman was, like, becoming an instrument in the Lord's plan. In another occasion, in the same Ramayana, like before he was trying to jump the Lanka ocean, Hanuman been boasting himself, okay, to give the confidence to all the other Vanaras, because Jambavan is asking, Hanuman, you can't be like so sad and so disappointed, like, okay, you can cross the Lanka ocean in a very great spirit, because you are the great devotee of the Lord and you have a great power. So then he was boasting himself, not to self-rise, but to give the confidence to all the other Vanaras, because other Vanaras were questioning themselves how we can cross this Lanka ocean. But when they see the ocean being crossed by Hanuman, they get the confidence, okay, I can cross as well. because I am also like a same honor as Hanuman. So for that reason, he's boasting himself. But the similar time, like okay, when he met Srimati Sita Mai, so at that time Sita is asking, Hanuman, you have great power and great strength. Okay, you cross the Lanka Ocean very easily. I was thinking like, hey, I'm doubting how it would be possible for all the other Vanaras, and how it is possible for Guka to cross, and how it was possible like okay for Angada to cross, how it is possible for like a Jambavan to cross. Like okay, likewise, she's asking like so many whether it is possible like for Lakshmana and Rama also like to cross this ocean. At that time, uh, Hanuman take a very humble position to say that okay, no, Sitamai, like okay, in the whole Vanaras army, in the whole of Lord Rama's army, I am the weakest soldier. If I can cross this ocean, then anyone else can cross this ocean also. So please, like, okay, don't worry. Lord Rama will come along with this army and he will save you. So to give the confidence to Sita Ma, he taken a very menial position. Like he taken very menial position. Uh, so he the other part, like okay, he was boasting himself to give the confidence to all the other Vanaras, but here to give the confidence to Sita Ma, like he taken a very menial position, humble position. Like that is what we need to understand. How Lord Hanuman, according to the will of the Lord, okay, he becomes an instrument. He never wants to self-praise, but to according to the situation, like he changed his position. Okay, Hare Krishna. The next pastime, the similar way, Srila Prabhupada, if you see like okay, Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70, he would have very much satisfied like to be in Vrindavan to do the devotion service and to preach like okay to whomsoever coming to the temple. But he taken very hard step like okay to travel to West. Just his spiritual master told, okay, no, you have a great knowledge of English, like you have to go and preach in the Western people. So he taken very hard position like okay, to go back to the West and to preach like okay, all the conditioned souls. So how difficult it was like for Srila Prabhupada, but he wanted to be an instrument, because in one occasion where I think it may be like okay Janmashtami or the another great festival. So during that time, like he was not in Vrindavan, he was in America. Then he was just praying to Lord, I wanted to be an instrument. If you want to make me success, please make me success. If you want to make me fail, like you make me fail. But I just want to put my effort. Like I want to be an instrument in your plan. Please, like help me to make success like of my spiritual master desire. So that like okay, I fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. So that is how like he take an extra effort to fulfill the desire of this spiritual master by being an instrument in Lord's plan. So that is the greatness of like a Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So in another occasion, now we will see like a how Lord taken as an instrument like a to fulfill the desire of the devotee. We all know like in the Damodar Leela, Narada Muni cursing like okay, the Kuveras and Nalakuvera and Manigriva. Okay, they will be blessed by the Lord, like they will be delivered by the Lord, correct? So while performing the Damodar Leela, why he is enjoying the pastimes of Yashodamai, okay, while he was in uh, the uh, uh, the ecstasy of like okay the Vatsalya Bhav, like okay with enjoying the Vatsalya Bhav from Yashodamai, immediately he is thinking, okay, my devotee mentioned, okay, Narada Muni mentioned, I have to deliver the sons of Kuvera without even consulting me, but let me take that chance like now. Let me fulfill that desire by being an instrument, like okay, by using that mortar, he goes and touching the Emalajuna tree and he is delivering them, correct? Like how Lord fulfills the desire of a devotee by just being an instrument. Correct? In another occasion, since Devaki and Vasudeva want to see the darshan of the Lord, because Lord performing so many pastimes in Vrindavan, and they are not, Vasudeva and Devaki is not getting the darshan of the Krishna. So then Lord Narada Muni, like, okay, immediately going and complaining to Kamsa, Kamsa, you are sending so many demons to kill Krishna in Vrindavan, but Krishna is killing all of them and he is enjoying the pastime. Why can't you invite him over here and you kill him here? Okay, so that is how he's sending Akrura. But everyone is cursing Akrura for taking Krishna and Balram from Vrindavana. Actually, it is not Akrura like who devised the plan. It was Narada Muni who went and mentioned this to Kamsa, and Kamsa sending Akrura. Then they are see Krishna and Balram comes to Mathura, and they are killing like a Kovalepita and a lot of other demons, and like finally killing Kamsa. Then he is going and taking the darshan of Devaki and Vasudeva, because Devaki and Vasudeva like been put into the prison again on the request of Narada, because while Narada says, okay, then immediately Kamsa was saying, okay, now I will kill Devaki and Vasudeva, then immediately Krishna will come. He's saying, no, don't kill them. You put them in the jail to see them, like, okay, Krishna will come for sure. So in that manner, like to fulfill the desire of a devotee, Narada, and to see the darshan of, to give the darshan to Vasudeva and Devaki, Lord accepted like to move from Vrindavan and to come and kill Kamsa and to give the darshan to Devaki and Vasudeva. So this how like a Lord taken as an instrument to fulfill the desire of the devotee. Hare Krishna. Next pastime. So again, in the Mahabharata Yuddha also, like we can see, Lord said, like, okay, I am not going to fight. I will be just like, okay, as a messenger only. I will not lift any weapon, but just to protect, because two things. Okay, one is Bhishma wanted to enjoy fighting with Krishna, because Bhishma was a great soldier. He wanted to enjoy the fight with Krishna. So he wanted Krishna to fight, and he wants Arjuna to be saved from the wrath of like, okay, Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma was throwing arrows like anything. Arjuna is unable to be saved. Okay, Krishna is making various ways to save Arjuna. So to protect his devotee and to fulfill the desire of a devotee, Bhishma Dev, Krishna even broke his promise, and he is lifting the wheel, the chariot wheel, to in front of Bhishma. Then that Bhishma is remembering that particular incident while he is about to pass away. He's saying like, hey, you just lifted the wheel at that time. You were the sand in the battlefield on your body. I was enjoying that little whatever, like, okay, the drops of water in your body, like I was enjoying your curly hair, I was enjoying. Likewise, like he was remembering all those things, that remembering, willing, feeling, all those things, like he could able to enjoy during the time of passing away. So to fulfill the desire of a devotee, to protect the devotee, Arjuna, even Lord Krishna, like ready to overrule his promise. Correct. So that is how Krishna becomes instrument, like for to fulfill the desire of a devotee. Hare Krishna. The another occasion, like even to protect Prahlad, Lord appeared from the pillar. Correct. Because Hiranyakashipu was asking, like, is Lord your Lord present in this pillar? In this pillar. At that time, Narsinghadev is almost like ready to appear in any of the pillar, because he don't know like from which pillar, like, okay, Prahlada is going to show and Hiranyakashipu is going to hit. So Lord accepting be an instrument to fulfill the desire of a devotee. So for Prahlad, Prahlad could able to see like the Lord even in the pillar, but Hiranyakashipu is unable to see. Even Lord comes present in front of him. So to fulfill the desire of a devotee, like he becomes an instrument, even to appear from the pillar. So that is the greatness of devotee and the Lord. So with this, like we can end today's pastime. Like there are many other pastimes. Due to the time constraint, like we could able to see only this much. So we have to understand, when you leave everything in Krishna's hand, you will see Krishna's hand in everything. So gopis are again not greedy like to serve Krishna. They wanted Krishna to get the best of the service. Okay, he loves to play with gopis like but he comes out like even from that pastime to protect like devotee in the Kurukshetra war. Similarly, how like a Srila Prabhupada comes out like to preach to all the Westerners, like so that is another greatness. Like sometimes we may not get like get to do what we want, but we have to do something which may not be our preference, like but for Krishna's sake, to serve the Vaishnavas, like as a service to Vaishnava, we have to do that thing. We may not be expert in doing that service, but Krishna expecting us to do that particular service. That is another thing. Like three services: leading kirtan, giving lecture, and doing arti bring attention or like a fame to the doer of the devotee. We should do these things only if been asked to do. Okay, that too with hesitation. But a menial service we have to accept with gratitude and without hesitation. So this is very important thing. Like again, we need to learn. Let us be an instrument in Krishna's service by remembering all these pastime. To remember, okay, everything has been owned and controlled by the Lord in the Isavasya principle. Hare Krishna. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Please forgive me if I said something wrong, and sorry for like extending a little late. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Prabhu.
Thanks a lot, Maji.
And does anybody has any questions, Prabhuji? If we can take any questions, if anybody has any.
Yeah, sure, Maji. Yeah.
Devotees, you can raise your hand for questions, though we have short time.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I have a question, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji. Wonderful class,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna being the instrument in all our, I mean, in everything, what we hear about Krishna's pastime. Prabhuji, I just wanted to know, we being the practicing devotees, how is Krishna instrumental in our lives also? Which with each and everything that we face and we encounter in our daily life, can we understand that there is a hand of Krishna in everything, Prabhuji? Then I just wanted to know that where is the free will, Prabhuji, that is being executed when everything is happening according to, I mean, when everything is when Krishna's hand is there in everything, how can we understand that where is our free will being executed? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Maji. Yeah, Krishna is guiding Mataji, like Krishna's hand in everything, because everything is the energy of the Lord. Okay, it has been controlled and owned by the Lord. So we have to understand the manner where, okay, you put a Google map to reach from source X to source Y, correct? Though the Google map shows the way, but only you can drive. You have to drive, correct? The similar way, Krishna will show the way. Baba, whatever you are doing now is not correct, like by giving that inner consciousnness. But we have to act on that. Krishna is not playing, okay, on behalf of us. Krishna is guiding us. But to act as per Krishna's will is what like we have to do it. He no need of like, okay, the Kurukshetra war, correct? Krishna would have defeated, and Krishna would have like given everything like in a close to within a thought of a second, correct? But Krishna is influencing. He is giving the importance for devotee, so that like a devotees will be glorified. So that is how Krishna's hand in everything in our day-to-day life also. He is influencing us so that we take the right decision we understand the purpose of our life so that we can go back to the spiritual world permanently without any hinge of material desires. Hope I could able to respond to your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, but Prabhuji, one more not question with this doubt, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Like
Mataji. Yeah.
you said that Krishna be just like how the wind that is present makes the fire come
Bamboo
out.
tree. Yeah, correct.
The
Yeah.
So which you said. So in the Kurukshetra war, that also took place because of the willingness of the Lord. Because
Yeah,
the Lord,
correct.
because Lord being the Supreme Lord knows what is the future also. So it was already predestined to
Yeah.
that the Kurukshetra war will be taken. So, but how then? I just wanted to know, like he goes and I mean goes to Duryodhana and asks for them that to give them 5 villages as a
Yeah.
negotiation, a negotiator. He'll goes. So at
Yeah.
that time, that free will of Duryodhana was in the hands of. I mean, was it controlled by the Lord, Prabhuji? I just wanted to know because the Lord wanted to have the war.
Yeah,
So
yeah, correct. Yeah. No, Lord don't want to have the war because he wanted like this particular situation to arise. He was saying, okay, Duryodhana been put into that situation with the will of the Lord only, for sure. Okay, so that Duryodhana rejects, accepting and rejecting both are like the will of the Lord. So that like a Duryodhana is encouraging war to happen. So that like Arjuna, Pandavas and Kauravas are assembled there so that like okay the Kurukshetra war is about to begin. At that time, like Arjuna being put into the bewilderment, everything like okay, because Lord Krishna knows what happened in the past, happening in the present, and will happen in the future. Correct? Everything is the will of the Lord. But sometimes, like devotees may not agree to the will of the Lord. Like okay, they will. It is our acceptance. Okay, everything is the will of the Lord. Everything happening for a reason. Only devotee can understand in that manner. Like I mentioned, others may think, okay, why Bhishma Dev didn't protect or didn't protect like when Draupadi been put into that situation. He has been put into that situation so that Draupadi surrenders to Krishna fully, so that Krishna can come and protect. Okay. So everything happening for a reason. We understand only partial scene, correct? But Krishna knows what is happened in the past and what is going to happen in the future. If you go to a movie only in the middle of a scene, you may not accept, like you may not understand what happened in the past, like why that character is acting in that manner and what is the future for that character. That can be understood only by Krishna, who knows the full movie, like what is in the past, in the present, and in the future. So everything happening for a reason, which is by the act of the Lord. But that act, he is just guiding everyone so that everyone takes the glory, everyone takes the real knowledge, everyone learns that knowledge, like everyone understood that knowledge like a fully, and he can go back to the spiritual world. One example I will say, like okay, I was thinking in one day in the morning, like while doing arti, Krishna, if you thought, okay, everything would have been done, why you created this material universe? It is not at all possible. It is not at all needed, like, okay, for even giving the free will, even giving that, okay, you enjoy independently, like by going to the spiritual world. I was questioning like why you put us into this situation. Don't completely remove the free will, please. Like okay, keep us as your servant eternally in the spiritual world. Why you want created like that independence and this material world? Then immediately, like in the evening, I am getting some response or like some realization. The same of you while in the spiritual world, you are asking Krishna, I want to enjoy. I am bored of like this service. Let me enjoy by independently. Please create a separate world for me. For that reason, I created this world. Because you desire, I created. Because once you desire like to come back to the spiritual world, I given all these like facilities. So you please understand and come back there permanently, so that you will never go back to the material world again. This is how we need to understand. everything happening for a reason, everything is the will of the Lord.
Thank you
Hope,
so much. Yes,
yeah.
Prabhuji, well
Yes,
understood.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Time
Hare
for us
Krishna.
to surrender.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. We have to
Thank
understand, like, hey, this is happening for a reason without questioning, okay, why it is happening to me? Why this is happening only to me? Whenever we get a prize or like whenever we get the glorification, we never say why Lord chosen us. But when someone is commenting, when we are going to a difficult situation, we always say, oh, why Krishna testing me? Like Prahlad been put into the situation like no other devotee would have gone through. But he never questioned a single time why Krishna or Narasimha Dev, like you put me into this situation, because he knows, like, okay, the Lord is happening this scene for a reason, like Lord will protect me forever. So that has to be understood.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very well
Hare
explained.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your time and a lovely presentation and made it very, very
Hare Krishna,
interesting, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your association.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Sunita Mataji has raised her hand. One more question.
Sunita
Possible?
Mataji wants to ask a question. I didn't
Yes,
see
Mataji.
her hand up. Oh, yeah, yes. Sunita Mataji and then Vasanta. Okay, yeah. Sunita Mataji, you can ask the questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Actually,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Bhishma Dev was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. But in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.30, it is mentioned that though Krishna was standing in front of Bhishma Dev when he was lying on the bed of arrows in two-handed form, he wanted to see Krishna in four-handed forms. Why was it, Prabhuji?
This question been asked in many forums, like it is a desire of a devotee, like why Bhishma desired of that desire, like okay, only Bhishma can say. Even uh, it is the desire of a devotee. He want to see, like, okay, that opulent form of like the Vishnu Lord 400 form. Then like Lord has shown 400 form as well as like Krishna's form. Then he given the mercy to for him to go back to the spiritual world. So it is just like the desire of a devotee. He might have thought, okay, I saw the 200 form. Let me see 400 form also. And so for that reason, like really, if you ask, like there is a why he desired that, like only Bhishma Dev can explain. It is just a desire of a devotee. This is what like the response I got it from many forums. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about Uttarayana, that a devotee will never aspire for Uttarayana, any auspicious time to leave his body. But in Bhagavad Gita 8.24 shloka, Agnir Jyotiraha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayana. That is there. So is it for only mystic yogis who aspire for that marji?
Yeah, Maji.
Or
It is not up. Yeah, in the same purport or like a next shloka, you will see like this Uttarayana and Dakshinayana is not applicable for devotee. Devotee can pass their life like okay, day or night or Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, dark or sunlight. Like for devotee, all these rules never applies because devotee thinks about the Lord all the time, and when he remembers the Lord, Antakalecha Mameva, like okay, so that time he will attain the Lord. For devotee, it is not applicable. Even Srila Prabhupada mentions in that purport, all these conditions are like not applied for devotee.
okay, is it for mystic, particularly for mystic
Mystic
yogi?
yogi are like a one who is not performing the devotion service, like a one who never connected with the Krishna consciousness. For them, it will be applicable. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Manji. Hare Krishna.
What is the meaning of Uttarayana, Prabhuji? One who takes the shelter of Uttara, the Garbha? Is it that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So Krishna's another name is like a Uttarayana. Why? Because Uttara means like a Uttara. Because Uttara means like the topmost position. Because even the Lord's mother didn't get the name of Uttara. Lord's devotee didn't. Lord's daughter or like a son didn't get the name of Uttara. Like Lord's devotee got the name of Uttara because like she carried the greatest devotee in her womb. Okay, point number one. Then she carried even the Lord and his devotee. He carried Lord as well as like a Parikshit in her womb. So one who gives the shelter to Uttara that is called Ayana, means like a shelter. One who gives a shelter to Uttara. That is the reason like a Krishna being called as Uttarayana. One, he taken the shelter like in the womb of Uttara to protect Parikshit. So that is also another aspect, like okay, how Lord being called as like a Uttarayana.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. To see him like okay, Vishwadev was waiting. Yeah. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
With your
Mataji. Yeah.
permission, can we end the class with prayers?
Yeah, please, Madhya. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks all for giving me the opportunity once again. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Kodi Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare